First, let me introduce myself. So I'm Pawan, and I'm working in IT field for more than 8 years now. And specific to data analytics, I have the experience more than 6 years. Yeah, and I have mainly worked on Power BI as well as the data analytics as a whole, where I use tools like Tableau, SQL, as well as uh, ClickSense in some of the projects. Okay. And as far as the domain is concerned, I've worked in sales, operations, and pharmaceutical domain, as well as insurance domain. Okay, so this is about me. Now, let me start sharing the screen so that I can get you through with the course content uh, of this particular Power BI course. Please let me know once my screen is visible to you.
Yeah, Pawan, we can see.
Okay, so first of all, let me just go through the course content. So this particular course deals specifically with the Power BI as a data analytics tool. And at the start, we'll just have a discussion on introduction to Power BI and how to install Power BI desktop in your system. And then we'll discuss about what are the building blocks and components of Power BI. And we also will have an overview of graphical user interface of Power BI. Okay. And once that is complete, we will get into the first part where we bring the data into Power BI and also transform the data within Power BI. So here basically we'll understand how to basically connect Power BI to the different data sources in the backend, namely maybe Excel, flat files, CSV files, and the databases like SQL, MySQL. So how to get connected with that and bring the data from those particular sources into Power BI desktop, that will learn first. And once that is done, we'll look into the different storage modes that are available within Power BI, namely direct query method. Then there is import mode, and then there's also live connection, which is available in Power BI desktop. And once that is complete, we will have an introduction to the in-house ETL tool within Power BI, which is called Power Query Editor. And there are various functionalities which are available within Power Query Editor through which we can profile the data, transform the data, and make the data clean and uniform according to what we need. And while doing that, we'll deal with various functionalities like clean function, trim function, joining of the tables in the form of merging, appending functions, then establishing the data types, replacing the values if needed, how to handle the nulls and errors, how to get rid of some of the columns or records that we don't need. Okay, and we'll also learn the concept of pivoting, unpivoting, and addition of calculated columns by different methods. Okay, and how to create the group by tables, or basically the summary tables or aggregation tables. And we also will learn the query folding and a lot of other transformation techniques that are available for us to transform the data within Power BI desktop. Once that is done, we'll move on to the next component of Power BI, that is Power Pivot, or basically this also is called data modeling within Power BI. So before we do that, we'll also try to understand the data warehousing concepts, which are essential for us to understand the data modeling as a whole. So once that is done, we'll look into how to model the data while we are in Power BI desktop. And that being said, we'll basically learn what are the fact tables, what are the dimension tables, and how to connect those tables, how to establish the cardinalities and relationship between the tables, uh, ER diagrams, what are the ER diagrams, and yeah, what is the filter flow, and what are the yeah different cardinalities, one to one, one to many, many to many, how to avoid the ambiguities that rise due to many relationship. And yeah, this is all the things that we learn while we're in data modeling in Power BI. And yeah, then comes the data visualization part, where we try to understand the different types of visuals first, be it bar charts, column charts, line graphs, area graphs, map charts, okay, slicers and donut chart, pie chart. We'll try to understand each of the visual. And importantly, it is essential for us to understand when to use a particular visual, and when we are using a particular visual, which one to be put onto or mapped onto x-axis and which one to be mapped onto y-axis. That concept we'll learn. And yeah, once that is complete, we'll try to understand how to create these visuals in Power BI, how to format these visuals in Power BI, and how to make these visuals dynamic. And while doing so, we'll try to understand lots of functionalities which are there in the visualizations, like conditional formatting, the matrix visuals, the filters, different types of filters, how to edit the interaction between the visuals, the concept of bookmarks, the drill downs and drill through buttons, then the tool tips, KPI cards, and also we'll try to understand the third party custom visuals that are available, which can be imported from the Microsoft market. Okay, so that'll be the data visualization part. And then we'll go on to learn one very important thing as far as Power BI desktop is concerned. That is the DAX, which stands for data analysis expressions. Now, the thing about Power BI is that you basically are as good in Power BI as good you are in handling the data analysis expressions, because this is basically the front end coding language that makes the Power BI engine work. So to basically make the data in a way that you want it to be, in a way you want to handle the previous data, and the way you want the data to be visual, I mean, to be visible in the visuals or the customization, everything can be handled by DAX itself. Okay. And DAX is basically, as I said, the coding language, the front end coding language as far as Power BI desktop is concerned. And we'll try to understand the different concepts, that is what is calculated column, what are the measures, what are implicit and explicit measures, the different functionalities that are available in the DAX, and maybe the conditional functionalities, the time and date intelligence functionalities. Okay, so all these functionalities we'll try to understand, and we'll do that uh, parallelly with creating a dashboard as well. Okay, so that is about the data analysis expressions part. And once our dashboard is ready, and when I say the dashboard is ready, it will go through everything. It will first go through bringing the data into Power BI, and then modeling the data in Power BI, creating the visualizations and DAX. And once we think that the dashboard or the report is ready, it would basically be using the cloud platform called Power BI Service to be published into, so that it can be collaborated or shared with the stakeholders. So Power BI Service is a cloud platform which is primarily used to share the work that you complete in Power BI Desktop. And here we'll try to understand what are the different licensing options that are available in Power BI, then how to create the workspaces, which are kind of like the folders where you can store your files. Okay, so what are the workspaces, different types of workspaces, how to create the reports while bringing in Power BI Service, how to refresh the reports, and what is the difference between the dashboards and the reports as far as Power BI Service is concerned. All these things we'll learn while we discuss Power BI Service. And then we'll, once this everything is done, we'll look into the interview questions. And here as well, we'll look into the theoretical questions as well as the scenario-based practical questions, which I mean, these are basically the activity involved questions which the interviewers might ask you to perform those tasks then and there. So these are those kind of questions. And yeah, while this whole thing goes from end to end, we also will be creating two dashboards simultaneously, one in the classwork and one as a part of the assignment questions. So this is how the course is basically designed. And the span of this course will be usually 40 to 45 days. I mean, at least 40 to 45 days, and the total number of classes will be 30 to 35. So this is basically about the course. Any doubts you're having about this, people? Yes. No questions?
Hello.
Yes, Sudhendra, go ahead.
Yeah, in my office, yeah, see, I currently work for a accounts payable, okay,
Okay.
accounts payable session.
Mm-hmm.
So in our office, the current reportings, everything will be done using the Power BI nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And they do some of the reportings and they share it through email. It's
Mm.
similar. Have you shown that table everything?
Mm-hmm.
So do
Okay.
we also get the same knowledge how we can get those data into Power BI and how and sending
Uh,
emails?
okay. So when you say you send the emails, via email, you directly share the reports, or how is it?
If yes, yeah. See how we get the report.
Mm-hmm.
So like um, we can select the period. We can change the period on the email itself
Mm-hmm.
on the
Uh,
screenshot. And
mm,
it's not like an exact screenshot. Okay, so the
okay.
data we can change it on the email itself, like the changing the period
Mm-hmm.
or
Okay. I'll tell you basically how in most of the organizations how they share the reports because uh, okay, once you create the report, and when I say create the report, usually creating of the report or dashboard, it happens offline in the sense they will be having the Power BI desktop installed in their particular locals, and there they get the data from the backend. I mean, the backend might be, usually the backend is some database system like the Azure, Databricks, or Synapse Analytics, stuff like that. And once you create that, you basically publish that work
Mm,
onto Power BI service. And once it is published in the Power BI service, generally what people do is they just share that link of the report, which is published in Power BI service, so that the stakeholders see your report in Power BI service itself. So this is how it works in your end as well, or you directly
yes,
share the reports in the
no, we
email.
get a link also,
Mhm.
but on the main email content, they
Mhm.
also share some screenshot. It's not exactly screenshot. So
Mm.
that is like a live screen. Like we can change the period or the
Mm.
any products or something. We can select on that email also. I will get you. I will try to get that details for you because
Okay.
mm,
So
okay.
your question is?
My question is on, yeah. So at the end of this session, are
Uh-huh.
we able to share such emails, like
Sure,
how
sir.
to generate the report and how to publish the report?
Yes, I mean, at the end of this course, you certainly would be able to create your own report by using
Okay.
the data from the backend sources. And once the
Mm.
report is done, you would be able to share it with your stakeholders by publishing it in Power BI service. Yeah.
Okay. And Pawan, by any chance, can we download these Power BI what tools in our laptops, personal laptops?
Yes, obviously, it is freely available. So I'll tell you how to download it. So let's not worry
Okay.
about that. Any other questions from anyone? I think someone posted a message. Okay. Pre-knowledge required for Power BI. Now the thing about Power BI is that Power BI is a data analytics tool, and parallelly we'll be learning the data analysis. Now, when I say data analysis, we should be understanding how the data is. And usually it is in the form of tables, I mean, rows and columns. And if you have the understanding of that and some of the basic mathematical concepts like how to get means, medians, and standard deviation, so just basic statistical aspects. So that is, and some basic mathematics, how to, I mean, calculate the percentage, how to calculate the the profit margins. It depends on the business, basically, whatever domain you're working on. But yeah, as far as data analysis is concerned, it is better to have the knowledge of data warehousing concepts as well. Like when you look into the data, what is the primary key, what is the secondary key, and how do you join the tables? What are the different types of joins which are available? And it would be the best thing to learn SQL in parallel to Power BI. So I hope that answers the question.
So, but yeah, Pawan, yeah, I thought I thought to start SQL after once we completed with Power BI. That is
See,
fine, right?
the thing is that when we learn the data analytics, some of the concepts will be common to both of them. Okay. And I think it would be better to learn these things parallelly side by side, because the usually in practical scenario, what happens is that when you try to learn one thing and once you're done with it, then you plan to learn another thing. It usually it happens that once one learning of one thing is over and you start with another thing, you forget the first stuff. So my suggestion is to
Okay.
learn both of them parallelly, and also try to practice both of them parallelly, because these tools are like, if you, I mean, if you listen to the class sessions, I'm 100% sure that you will understand all of the concepts. However, if you don't practice it on your own, then I'm 100% sure that all of that will be as good as useless, because when it comes to working by yourself, you will not be capable enough if you don't practice. So that's the simple thing. And yeah, knowledge of Excel is also important, and not the advanced Excel, but if you have the basic knowledge of Excel, that also is fine. Like the concepts of pivot tables, what are the summary tables, how to filter the data while you're in Excel. So those kind of stuff, if you're good with, then, and also writing the basic formula in Excel is not a big deal, right? So I think that is okay. No, I won't be teaching the Excel in this course. Yeah. Any
Yeah.
other questions, people? Okay. So let's try to understand. First, let's try to understand how to download the Power BI. Okay. So all you need to do is go to Marketplace, that is this icon here, Microsoft Store, and just click on Power BI desktop. Just click on Power BI. Okay. And that's it. You see, on my end, it's already installed, but in your end, it would be like free. Okay, so you just need to click on Get, and you just need to install it. And it's the simple steps, like you just need to click next, next, and it's done. It will not ask for any key or crack or code, nothing. It's very straightforward process. And if you have a strong internet connection, it will just get installed in your system within 5 minutes. It's no big deal at all. Hope that is clear. Is it clear, people, how to install Power BI in your systems? Okay.
Yeah, Pawan. Yeah, I'm just trying to installing.
Sure.
It's the
So
Power BI desktop, right? I can
yeah, it's the
see.
Power BI desktop. It's the Power BI desktop. Okay. Okay, fine. So that is how we get Power BI into the system. Okay. Now let's try to understand some of the basic concepts, and we'll also have an introduction to Power BI itself. Okay. So First of all, let's try to understand the business intelligence, or in simple terms, they call BI or BI development. Okay. So in simple terms, you see, it's the process of converting the data which looks like this into this. Now, here we have at the left side, we have the data in the form of rows and columns, like the spreadsheets or Excel sheets, uh, generally how the data will be visible to your eyes. Okay. So this is how the data will be in its crude or raw form. Okay. Now, just if you look at this data, apart from the column names and the type of data type those columns have, you won't be able to infer or figure out anything apart from those things from the data. However, if you process this data and if you convert this data into some visual forms, like here we have some of the visuals, like this is, you see, it's an area graph showing the YTD sales. Now, YTD sales means year to date sales. So here it says the year to date sales till now is 11.53 million. And currently, it is actually going down by minus 0.83%. So here, if you look at these visuals, these give you a clear-cut idea on how your business is going. And these visuals will help you make the business decisions. Or basically, it helps the stakeholders make the business decisions. Your job is to create these visuals or create these reports so that the end user will be able to make their decisions. So basically, this process as a whole is called business intelligence or BI. Okay, so it is converting the data in its raw form into the business data. So business data is what looks like this. Okay, so this is basically BI. Now, as simple as it seems, when you dig deeper into it, it goes on becoming more detailed and detailed. Okay, so this is we can say the high level architecture of the business intelligence that goes on in most of the organizations. Okay, so let's come from left hand side to right hand side here. So what we are seeing at the leftmost end here is the data coming from various data sources, original data sources. Now, the original data source can be some RDBMS system, okay, or it might be some Excel file or the file from Microsoft Access, or it's a flat file or text file or some other data, or it might be coming from something like some SAP related data entry tool or some bank transaction data entry tool created by some software companies. Okay, so all of this data is first brought into a staging platform, and that platform is where the ETL happens. Now, what is ETL? ETL stands for extract, transform, load. Now, here, what it means is it extracts the data from all these data sources coming from the backend. And then here, what happens is the transform. What is meant by transform? Transform is cleaning of the data or profiling of the data, where you perform the tasks like removing the unnecessary rows and columns, creating the column headers if they are not there, then establishing the data types of each and every column, then creating some new calculated columns, doing pivoting or unpivoting, maybe sometimes joining the multiple tables. So all that stuff happens in the transform phase. And when you think that the data is ready for the usage, or if it is when it is uniform, then you load it into this central repository, which is called as data warehouse. Okay, now data warehouse again is a set of tools and techniques which are used to make a central repository of data where you store all your data. And when I say all your data, let's say there's an organization, and in an organization there is data related to everything. Maybe some of the data which is related to HR operations, some of the data which is related to sales operations, some of the data which is related to let's say the operations, okay. Some of the data related to maybe vendor management systems, okay. So all the data from different domains is stored into one central repository, which we call data warehouse. Sometimes this also is called as data lake, okay. So here we store all the data, and then based on our requirement, we create the subsets of this data, which is called as data marts, which you are seeing here. Now, let's say for sales, we create one data mart. For operations, we create one data mart. For HR related systems, which we create another data mart. So like that, we create the subsets of the data, which are called data marts. And ultimately, this data is brought into the BI tools, okay? And in the BI tools, we ultimately end up creating the reports, which will be shared to the stakeholders. Okay. And this process as a whole is the business intelligence, or it can also be called as data analytics. Is it clear, people?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, now, as I said, the data warehouse might be consisting of the raw data as well, the summary data, the metadata. Metadata is actually the information about the data which is present in it. And it might be having different data mass related to different domains. Okay. So yeah, this is what that. Okay. So basically, the thing is, the reason why BI essentially exists is raw data is hard to read and draw conclusions from in its original form. And hence, we use the BI tools which essentially convert raw data into business data. Now, business data is the visual form of data which is easier to read and draw conclusions from. Okay. And there are certain business intelligence tools that are widely used in the market, and some of them are listed here, namely Power BI, Tableau, ClickView. There is Alteryx, there is MSBI, there is SAP BI, and apart from that, there are more like there is Spotfire, there is Grafana. Okay, so there are more tools which are essentially used to do business intelligence. And Power BI currently is most widely used BI tool. Uh, yeah. And then let's try to understand uh, the components of Power BI. So Power BI is not just one single tool, but it basically is a stack of components. Okay. So first thing is Power BI Desktop. Now, believe me, if you are working in a data analytics project and you are creating a BI report, and let's say you are working in Power BI, then believe me, 95 to 99% of your work will be done offline in Power BI Desktop itself. Okay, so Power BI Desktop is essentially an app which you will install in your local PC. Okay, here is where most of the work, almost most of the work, it happens in the Power BI Desktop. Okay, where you bring the data, where you do the data modeling, where you create the report, and yeah, so this all happens in Power BI Desktop. Then comes the Power BI Service. Now, Power BI Service can be thought of as a SaaS, that is software as a service, and it basically is a cloud-based application, and it essentially is used to share your reports and dashboard to the end users, and it also is used to share your reports and dashboards with the collaborators in the sense the colleagues which you work with to create the same reports. Now, in some cases, what happens is that more than one person will be responsible for creating a report, and that's when the Power BI service remains handy. That is, let's say I'm working in Indian time zone, and one of my colleague is working on US based time zone. So what I do is I create my report and I update my work into Power BI service by publishing my work. And once I'm done with my work, my colleague in US, he can download that report from Power BI service. He can do his work, and again, publish it so that next day I can do my work on the updated version. So this is how Power BI Service is useful. And then comes the Power BI mobile app. Now, believe me, even though we have Power BI mobile application, very seldom this is used into practice. I mean, this is used in practice because most of the end users or stakeholders or basically the business end, they don't prefer using Power BI mobile application. They are happy to use Power BI desktop itself because most of the people they carry their laptops and they want the reports to be seen on the bigger screen. So that is one of the important thing. But still, if you want to create the Power BI report which is compatible to be viewed in mobile, you can do that as well. So Power BI mobile application is just used to view the report which is created by someone else, but this is not used to create the report. Okay, so that is one thing. Then comes the Power BI service. Now, basically, uh, these are installed in the server computers. Okay, through which you can feed Power BI desktops to the connected computers as well. Okay, and then ultimately comes the Power BI report builder. Now, report builder is just similar to SSRS, which comes with SQL, that is used to generate the paginated reports. Now, the paginated reports are different from the usual reports that we make in Power BI desktop. How they are different? Look, paginated reports, they have one single page, and the thing is that you can build as big as paginated report as possible by making the page size more. And it will be just having the tabular form of data. Mostly it will be having tabular form of data. Paginated report won't be having the visuals like pie charts, donut charts, and stuff like that. Okay, just imagine the result sheets that will be attached on the notice boards, right? So those are similar to the reports that are built from Power BI Report Builder, and this also is very similar to one more tool called as SSRS. Okay, yeah. Now, as a part of this course, we'll be learning Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service. uh, Power BI mobile application, I mean, it is very rarely used. In fact, I have never come across a scenario where, I mean, I had to even view a report or create a report which is supposed to be viewed on Power BI mobile app. Okay, so we'll be dealing with Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service as a part of this course. Okay, so yeah, any doubts till now, people? Yes. Okay. So let us just have a tour of graphical user interface of how Power BI Desktop looks like. And for that, let me just open a report which is complete, okay, so that I can tell you how basically the dynamic reports can be created within Power BI Desktop. Um, okay, so let me show you the main page, that is the details page. Okay, so here we have most of the visuals. Okay, so this is how Power BI Desktop looks like. So this is an offline application or the application which is installed in the local PC. Okay, so essentially Power BI Desktop, it has three important views. One is the current view, which is where you are viewing the report itself. Now this view is called as report view. Currently we are in the report view. Apart from that, there are two more important views. One is called the table view. Now, in the table view, you can see all the tables that you have brought into Power BI Desktop for yourself in the form of columns and rows. Just like you see the tables in the Excel sheets, you can see the table view in the Power BI report as well, okay, or Power BI Desktop as well. And it will be having multiple tables which are joined together to make the particular report, okay. And the way in which the tables are joined, that, or mainly it is also called as the ER diagram, that is entity relationship diagram, that will be visible to you in the model view. Okay, now you see, this is the model view that I'm talking about. Here, you will be having the information about how the different tables are connected with each other. Okay, and what is the cardinality? I mean, is the cardinality one to many or many to one between the tables? What's the cross filter direction between them? So all these details would be provided in this data model view. Now, currently, I know you won't be knowing about what's the cardinality, what's the cross filter direction, but don't worry about that. As we go on into this course, we will learn it all. Okay. So currently, you don't worry about that. So essentially, it has three views. One is report view, where you can see the reports, and the report would consist of many pages. Now you see, I'm in the details page. However, you can include as many pages in the report as you want. There's no limitation to that. Okay, now you see, I have created other visuals in other pages which look like this. Okay, so yeah, so this is how you can maybe create the report. Okay, you can use multiple pages. Okay, yeah, but yeah, it is important to know that a report will be having multiple pages. Okay, so that is about the report view, and then there is table view, which I said you can look into the tables, and then there is model view, where you can see the connectivity between the tables. So yeah, this is about the general graphical user interface of Power BI Desktop. Okay, and yeah, from the next class onwards, we'll try to understand how to bring the data into Power BI from different sources. And we'll start with understanding the in-house ETL component of Power BI, which is called as Power Query Editor. Okay. So yes, any doubt with respect to the demo or anything about the course? Yes, people.
No, Pawan. Yeah, it's clear.
And then if, yeah, let me just give one more minute so that someone can ask the question. Yeah.
So, Pawan, yeah, when will be this regular classes will start from
A
next
regular,
Monday onwards?
since today is, I think, Friday, so from Monday onwards, we'll start with the regular class. And yeah, one more thing, let me tell you. As and when we do the classes, okay, so there will be class files which will be shared with you. Okay, and the class files will be consisting of the data. I mean, the class file along with the data which I'm using in the class. And apart from that, one more thing will be shared with you, that is the assignment questions and the stuff that you need to do on your own into Power BI. And also the assignment solution file also will be shared with you. Okay, so this
Oh,
is after every class, this I'll be sharing with you. Okay, so that you can do what I did in the class by looking at the class file. And apart from that, you can also create your own dashboard parallelly by going through the assignment questions, which will ultimately end up in you creating the dashboard. Clear?
perfect. Yeah, that will be useful.
Yeah. And yes, the course duration, see, the total number of classes that will be end up doing with is almost 30 or 30 plus classes. So you include the weekends. So yeah, we have at least 45 days to complete this particular course. Yeah, that will be the general duration. Clear?
Yeah.
That will be answered by Tanvir. Okay. But it's nominal. It's not more. That I'm sure of. Are there any more questions, people? Okay. Fine. Then if there are no more questions, let me just stop the recording. And the recording for after each session will be shared